Why are all the votes along party lines? It appears the individual senators not speak for themselves or constituents, only the party. Well, you know, I will tell you, there is, this has become more of a problem. When I first came to Washington, there were a bunch of us that proudly called ourselves moderates. There were many states that had both a Democrat and Republican in the Senate. It wasn't just Missouri, and it wasn't just Iowa, it was also Indiana, and it was Nebraska, and it was Arkansas, and it was Louisiana. There were a whole bunch of states that had one of each. A couple of things happened. A lot of the moderate Republicans were defeated after the Tea Party became very strong. People like Bob Bennett and Dick Lugar, people who had worked across party lines a lot. And the same thing happened with a lot of the Democratic moderates. They were defeated, many of them were defeated by Republicans. And so what has happened is there are fewer and fewer people that will say out loud they were moderate, because the noise in our system is all being generated on the ends. There's a bunch of you that watch Rachel Maddow every night, and you feel vindicated and right. And you know, this is really what we should be doing. And there's a bunch of you that watch Sean Hannity every night and say the same thing. And you are the people that are making all the noise in the system. Nobody ever calls me and says, I'm calling to ask the senator to compromise. No one ever writes me and says, I'm calling to ask the senator to compromise. And by the way, most people in Missouri are watching Dancing with the Stars and don't like any of us. So how do I speak to those people? And the people that are watching Dancing with the Stars just want us to get stuff done. So it is important that we are willing to break party lines. I've done it many, many times. I have lots of proof points that I've done it. I will continue to do it. I can think of one right off the top of my head that a lot of Democrats were very, very disappointed on Keystone, that I was for the Keystone Pipeline. But I figured that oil was coming out of the ground no matter what. The pipeline is going to get built. It's just a matter of where, not if. And if it's coming out of the ground no matter what, I'd rather the jobs come to the United States, and more importantly, I think it's safer than it moving on barges and rail trains, rail cars. So, but I got lots of other examples like that. So many assaults on our freedoms and rights coming from so many directions from the current administration. How do you prioritize where to put your focus? Reproductive rights, immigrant rights, LGBT rights, Russia, etc. Well, I actually, Dottie, try to learn a lot. Where's Dottie? Hi, Dottie. I try to learn a lot every day. I consume a lot of information so that I'm well prepared and knowledgeable about all of the subject matter. And then a lot of it is me engaging in oversight as I wait for legislative proposals to work on.
Whoa.
Oh, cut off her mic.
That's okay. I can talk louder.
Yeah.
Legislative proposals, right now, the only thing we've been asked to vote on since President Trump took office have been confirmations. And all of the legislating that has occurred so far has been an effort to come up with proposals just among the Republicans. If you look at health care, the decision was made that they would try to take the health care, repeal and replace, through a process called reconciliation, which only requires 51 votes. And so the idea was, we are going to, we are going to agree among ourselves, the Republicans, on repeal and replace, and then we're going to send it over to the Senate, and Mitch McConnell is going to get 51 Republican votes. They hit a speed bump in that they couldn't agree. So they couldn't agree among themselves, the Republicans, on repeal and replace. Part of the problem was, as it turns out, repeal and replace was a bumper sticker. They weren't ready with a plan, and so they were scrambling to come up with something that would manage to allow people who've been sick before to still get insurance, but do away with, frankly, most of what they did was do away with taxes and cut health care. I mean, it was really more of a tax cut bill than it was a health care bill. But, and the same thing now on tax reform. I'm on the Finance Committee, and we will handle the tax reform bill. I am looking to work with Republicans and try to find the right way to stir job creation and do all that. But so far, they're only talking among themselves. There's been no legislative proposal produced other than a blueprint by Paul Ryan that the White House is saying they're going to have a tax reform bill. And it appears to us at this point they're talking among themselves, trying to reach agreement. At some point in time, we will be asked to act. I am not on the committees of jurisdiction about Russia. but I'm trying to stay very informed, and I'm trying to take all the classified briefings I can, so I am informed. So it is, it's always like drinking out of a fire hose. It's one of the reasons this job is challenging and fun, is because if you're intellectually curious, you're never going to be bored, because there's always something else to learn about. You know, just in the last few days, I reviewed the common carrier contract for airlines and discover to what extent can they drag someone out of an airplane that's paid for a ticket. So it varies every single day and every single week.